The first time the Galactic Coalition witnessed human soldiers in action, every species recorded the same reaction in their tactical logs. What the hell? For centuries, the Coalition believed they understood warfare. They had fought beside rage-fueled berserkers, ice-blooded Venari tacticians, and the unstoppable Zov Hive legions. They thought they had seen everything the galaxy could offer. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared them for the chaos, the madness, the brilliance, the insanity that walked onto the battlefield wearing human combat armor. It began on the shattered moon of Grathos 4. Coalition forces were collapsing under the Krail Dominion's advance. The Krail were infamous for their mind control worms, plasma-feeding hounds, and psychic fear waves strong enough to shatter the sanity of entire squads. Tactical screens flashed red. Enemy forces pushed deeper. Every prediction showed the same outcome. Coalition defeat in 41 minutes. Krail victory unavoidable. Then a single human dropship landed. No escort. No reinforcement fleet. Just one small ship falling through the smoke-filled sky. The ramp opened slowly, and 15 humans walked out. Laughing. Not battle-ready. Not panicked. Not cold and expressionless like machine soldiers. They were laughing as if they were stepping out for a friendly weekend activity. Their squad leader stretched like he was warming up for morning exercise. "All right. Who ordered pest control?" he shouted across the battlefield. Several alien officers blinked in confusion. One Venari gunner whispered, "Oh, are they drunk?" Another replied, "No. Worse. They are humans." The humans moved casually, checking weapons, cracking jokes, complaining about boring deployments. One soldier actually asked if there would be snacks afterward. The Coalition's morale analytics predicted immediate disaster. Instead, the universe learned its first terrifying truth about humans. They don't fear war. They get excited by it. The Krail launched a psychic shockwave meant to incapacitate any creature with a nervous system. 3 species collapsed instantly. A squad of BKA fell to their knees. Even Venari tacticians clutched their heads in agony. Humans barely flinched. One soldier yelled, "Stop trying to read my mind. It's a mess in here." Another shouted, "You're gonna get lost in my childhood trauma." Then the humans charged. They moved faster than anything the Coalition considered physically reasonable. They fired at angles that should have been impossible. They improvised constantly, turning broken alien drones into grenades, using shattered armor plates as shields, even throwing debris like lethal projectiles. Every second, they adapted. Every minute, they got faster. And the more dangerous things became, the more they smiled. The Krail commander transmitted a panicked report, his final transmission before his unit fell. "These creatures, they do not respond correctly. They laugh while bleeding. They charge while burning. Their minds are chaos, chaos with purpose. They are wrong. They are wrong." Within 13 minutes, a Krail battalion retreated. Within 17 minutes, 2 more followed. Within 20 minutes, the entire Krail advance collapsed into a full withdrawal. And the humans? They sat on smoking debris, taking pictures. One soldier posed with a destroyed Krail mech like it was a tourist attraction. Coalition High Command watched the footage in stunned silence. Hundreds of officers, analysts, and generals tried to make sense of what they had seen. The only verbal reaction recorded officially was from an ancient Venari strategist, who stood up slowly and whispered, "If humans ask to join your battle, say yes immediately." For the first time in galactic history, a battle report ended not with casualty numbers or tactical analysis, but with a warning. Do not provoke humans. If they deploy soldiers, victory will not be logical. It will be violent, unpredictable, and absolute. And that was the moment the universe realized something profound. Humans didn't survive because they were strong. They survived because they were terrifyingly unstoppable. A species forged on a death world, smiling in the face of war. The coalition wanted answers. After the disaster on Grathos 4, after watching humans tear through an entire Krail assault force while laughing, every scientist, diplomat, and commander demanded to know the same thing. What is wrong with human soldiers? Why didn't they fear psychic attacks? Why did they run toward explosions instead of away from them? Why did they smile while bleeding? Why did their minds sound like chaos to telepaths? So the coalition summoned the human delegation. The humans arrived with the same casual confidence their soldiers showed on the battlefield. Their lead scientist, Dr. Mara Kent, stepped into the grand chamber with a cup of coffee and said, "All right, let's talk about why everyone thinks we're insane." The chamber filled with nervous murmurs. The BKA ambassador stood and shouted, "Your warriors resisted fear waves meant to break planetary defenses. Impossible." A Claire psychicist, "Your soldiers' minds are loud, violent, confusing, like trying to read a storm." A Venari tactician added, "You do not fight like other species. You improvise. You adapt. You break formation. You enjoy danger." The humans listened quietly. Then Dr. Mara Kent pressed a button. The lights dimmed. A hologram of Earth appeared above the council table. The aliens leaned forward and froze. Because Earth was not a homeworld. It was a death trap. The hologram showed volcanic eruptions the size of mountains, oceans filled with predators with too many teeth, deserts that could boil flesh, ice ages that could wipe out continents. Then came earthquakes, massive storms, plagues, asteroid impacts, and predators with claws longer than some species' arms. The council chamber fell silent. Dr. Kent took a sip of her coffee. "We evolved here." A Venari officer whispered in horror, "Your planet tried to kill you repeatedly." The human nodded cheerfully. "Yep. Builds character." She swiped the hologram again, showing humanity's history, endless wars, ancient battles, handcrafted weapons, global conflicts, survival against impossible odds. The aliens recoiled as if the images were weapons themselves. "Your species faced extinction a dozen times," a BKA whispered. "And we got better every time," the human general replied. Then came the biology explanation. Humans produced adrenaline and endorphins in massive amounts when stressed, transforming fear into speed, pain into focus, and exhaustion into aggression. Their muscles grew stronger when pushed. Their hearts pumped harder under threat. Their brains rewired themselves during crisis. Claire psychics explained their experience reading humans. "It is like diving into a hurricane filled with memories of broken bones, sarcastic comments, violent optimism, and strange songs." The humans shrugged. "That's normal for us." The council became even more confused. Why would a species evolve like this? Why didn't they collapse mentally? Why didn't they crumble emotionally? Then Dr. Kent revealed the real secret, the thing no one expected. Biology wasn't the reason humans were terrifying. Culture was. Humans made entertainment out of danger. They had war movies, survival games, extreme sports, competitive challenges. They praised bravery. They honored sacrifice. They admired those who faced impossible odds. One alien exclaimed, "You voluntarily jump from cliffs with parachutes for fun." "Sometimes without parachutes," a human soldier said proudly. The chamber collectively gasped. To most species, danger meant death. To humans, danger meant challenge. The coalition realized that this combination, death world biology plus challenge-loving culture, created something unprecedented. A species that saw fear as motivation. A species that turned pain into progress. A species whose soldiers considered impossible a personal insult. A species that laughed during war because their ancestors faced far worse dangers every single day. When the presentation ended, the chamber remained silent. Not out of fear, out of awe. 1,000 years of military theory had never prepared them for this simple truth. Nothing was wrong with human soldiers. Nothing was broken. Nothing was unnatural. The universe simply didn't understand what happens when a Death World species finally steps onto the galactic stage. And now it was too late. Humans had arrived. And they were already changing everything. The Coalition called it the unwinnable war long before humans ever heard about it. The X-Zone swarm had consumed 7 star systems in 13 days, tearing through defenses like they were made of paper. No species could fight them. No weapon could stop them. Their living megaships, massive biomechanical titans, were so large they cast shadows across moons. Every world that faced the swarm fell the same way: silence, then darkness, then nothing. The Coalition planned evacuation. Humans planned something else. The moment they saw the X-Zone megaship, they didn't react with fear or despair like everyone else. Instead, one of the human generals stared at the monstrous structure, its flesh metal plates, its pulsing veins of energy, its countless screaming mouths, and muttered, "This looks like the world's worst hallway. We should go inside." The aliens thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Humans rolled out Operation Break the Beast, a plan so insane that the Coalition refused to sign off on it. They said entering a living megaship was suicide. No one had ever tried. No one had even survived a direct scan of the creature's interior without vomiting blood. But the humans insisted. Infiltrate. Adapt. Destroy from inside, the commander said. It's just biology. Biology can be broken. The mission began with a drop pod insertion directly onto the megaship's flesh-like hull. The humans landed running. Their armor hissed under acidic spores. Their helmets flickered under psychic static. The air was toxic. The surface pulsed like breathing lungs. Coalition tactical units watched from orbit, whispering prayers in a dozen languages. The humans reached an entry wound, a jagged, slowly healing tear from a previous battle, and without hesitation, walked in. Inside the megaship, the universe looked wrong. The walls were organic metal, shifting, twitching, dripping with bioluminescent fluids. Vein-like tubes throbbed with blue plasma. Digestive pits gurgled like hungry beasts. The corridors were alive. They tightened, stretched, shrank, screamed. Every species watching the live feed recoiled. Humans didn't. One soldier muttered, "This feels like a horror game level." Another replied, "Man, I love those." Then the fighting began. X-Zone Guardians emerged, multi-limbed horrors with armor of bone and metal, screaming with telepathic rage. They attacked in swarms, firing acidic spines and shredding the walls around them. Humans fought differently than anyone expected. They didn't retreat. They didn't reposition. They didn't argue or panic. They kept moving forward. The tighter the walls became, the faster humans reacted. When the creature tried to crush them with contracting tunnels, they planted explosives in the walls and used the blast to propel themselves ahead. When acid rivers blocked passages, they improvised bridges from fallen guardians. When psychic waves tried to break their minds, they blasted music through their comms to drown out the mental attack. Every alien species watching the feed whispered the same stunned question: how are they still alive? 40 hours passed. Humans had no rest, no resupply, no chance of retreat. But instead of slowing, they became more efficient, faster, sharper, more terrifying. The deeper they went, the stronger the megaship resisted. The corridors twisted into labyrinths. The air grew poisonous. Shadows moved independently. The ship screamed inside their minds. The humans pushed harder. Finally, they reached the brain core chamber, an enormous, pulsating mass of nerves, glowing organs, and energy nodes. It looked like a living sun trapped in a cage of bone. The humans didn't hesitate. They planted charges, fired everything they had, tore through defenders, and shouted through the comms to each other like they were finishing a competitive sport. When the first explosion went off, the entire galaxy watched a megaship, the size of a moon, shudder and convulse. Then it exploded. not in quiet death, but in a cascading bloom of fire across the dark void, petals of molten metal and flesh drifting like shattered stars. A creature thought to be invincible died with one strike team inside it. And the universe realized something impossible. Humans didn't break military doctrine. They broke the limits of what any species believed could be done. No one had ever destroyed a megaship from the inside. No one believed it was possible. No one except humans. Of human combat effectiveness. First, humans adapt faster than any known species. Every maneuver, every environment, every weapon is studied in seconds, processed, and turned into a counter-strategy mid-battle. No alien mind could keep up. Their chaos was organized. Their unpredictability, precise. Their improvisation, flawless. Second, humans convert fear into fuel. Where other species feel panic, humans feel adrenaline. Where others feel pain, humans focus and fight harder. Where exhaustion strikes, humans push beyond. Biologists called it a survival override. Psychologists called it madness. Other species simply called it terrifying. Third, humans operate as packs with unbreakable bonds. One human down is 100 ready to fight. Casualties create cohesion, not despair. Loyalty, trust, and sheer stubbornness turned every squad into a deadly organism that moved faster than computation could track. Fourth, humans are unpredictable, chaotic, and relentless. Every human has a mind full of strange ideas, memories, humor, and improvisation. Telepaths described it as a storm of noise that cannot be read, manipulated, or predicted. Every alien species studying the transmissions from the Grathos 4 incident or the Exxon megaship infiltration admitted that humans were impossible to anticipate. Fifth, humans enjoy impossible challenges. Other species see impossible tasks as hopeless. Humans see them as tests, puzzles, or games. The tougher the environment, the greater the opportunity for humans to thrive. The coalition watched humans infiltrate living megaships, navigate psychic labyrinths, and turn death traps into training grounds with no hesitation. Sixth, humans refuse to surrender. Ever. Even when surrounded, outnumbered, or injured, humans fight. Often, they fight in ways that alien species call insane. But insanity to humans is simply strategy, improvisation, adaptation, creativity under pressure. What appears reckless is often calculated, based on instinct honed on a death world filled with predators, disasters, and war. The last and most terrifying observation in the report came as a warning. Humans were not broken, defective, or strange. Nothing was wrong with them. The universe had underestimated a species forged by constant danger, a species honed to survive in the harshest of conditions. Humans were evolutionarily, culturally, and psychologically designed to thrive where all others failed. They were the ultimate shock to the galaxy, unstoppable, unpredictable, and unstoppable. Today, human soldiers are not simply requested, they are demanded. Armies do not hire humans for numbers or ranks. They hire them for outcome. Entire fleets have been surrendered, retreats negotiated, and invasions abandoned at the first sight of human drop pods or the laughter of their infantry. Commanders whisper warnings to one another. If humans deploy, run. If humans march, surrender immediately. The universe has learned that humans redefine war not by power, numbers, or technology, but by sheer adaptability, courage, and willpower. And yet, humans do not see themselves as gods, nor do they boast of their victories. They act as they always have, laughing, joking, and moving forward because it is simply the way they survive. Every battle is a challenge, every threat is an opportunity, every impossible situation is a game to be won. The universe has adjusted its calculations. Generals no longer assume tactics will work. Strategic planners no longer predict outcomes. Analysts no longer trust probability. All across star systems, one fact is universally accepted. When humans fight, the battle is over before it begins. Only the madness remains, and the humans are always smiling through it. And that is why, across every galaxy and in every language, the phrase echoes in command centers, academies, and battlefield briefings alike.